Let me take a little pause in my relentless reading of David McFadden to focus on one stanza of Halloween 1990, which I just read the full thing of, which of course unsurprisingly is we read the great novelists because they're so physical and provide us with useful info about all the important things in life, whether to live in the country or city or country, what kind of scotch to drink, and what to drink it with, and what kind of raw onion to eat with what kind of sandwich, how to get along with members of the opposite sex or the same, with our inevitable colleague, or with our or the same with our inevitable colleagues, thermometers to measure our normalcy, which I guess is one of these. I figured, hey, if I'm going to stop and talk about a little paragraph, it's like, oh, that one's interesting. Talking about we read the great novelists because they're so physical. Because I mean, that's the big thing about a novel is it is a dramatization, a some kind of a depiction of a physical scene. It is making physical stuff that is dealt with in nonfiction or in essays as abstract matters. This is no, I've created a character, and this is a character going through this situation. This is a character drinking what kind of scotch, eating, having that raw onion with what kind of sandwich, and that thing about getting along with members of the opposite sex or the same. Both could be romantic, or they could be, just getting along with human beings, or with our inevitable colleagues, the people we work with, that kind of things. And then there's that last thing of thermometers to measure our normalcy, because what do we look for? What is one of the things that we're looking for in fiction is ways of living, and it's depicting. Now, do you come now when it's a thermometer? It's showing how people are getting how a couple gets along or doesn't get along, and that's useful information of to say how I get along with my loved one or how I don't get along. Um, and we both happen, or how I love or how I hate somebody. All that sort of stuff comes up in a novel, and it's some kind of a part of our being social animals, watching dramas where other human beings are interacting, and we get invested in it. We identify with. We get this emotional thing. That's an interesting thing of that thermometer to measure our normalcy, and also to say what is normal. There's efforts afoot in a lot of ways to regulate what's acceptable in our fiction, whether that's novels, whether that's TV or movies. What is acceptable? What will we allow to be normal? And there's still debates over that. As much as certain places are going to say, well, what is normal? There's other places that are like, no, this is normal. There's a prescriptive thing going on. But I think there's also just sort of general standards of how you feel that, how we feel that women should be treated in the world, what kind of respect, what kind of agency they should be accorded. So yeah, it was an interesting little stanza that comes up in the midst of David McFadden's poem Halloween 1990, and reading how we read great novelists, how we read great poets, to find out what is how is it this poet apprehends the world, and does it open up things for how I apprehend the world? Do I want to judge David McFadden for how he apprehends the world? There's a little bit of both. It's like being open to it, sometimes being quite judgy about how somebody's own time and his own particular viewpoints might clash with mine. But yet but generally being enriched by that, and being that fellowship, that the thermometers to measure our normalcy is something. And yes, and how to get along with members of the opposite sex or the same, with our inevitable colleagues, all those people, but also where to live, what to eat, all that sort of stuff. It's all fascinating. All right, I will leave it there. I've been Jay. More videos later.